What up guys, this is 97 Lego Maniac with another video review, and today we're going to take a look at the new custom minifigures that are fully painted and fully sculpted by me, and that is the characters from the Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of the greatest TV shows that I've seen in the whole entire life. So I've seen the show last year. I don't know why I started that late. A lot of people in the past have asked me to watch this, including you guys in the past, but I just never get to it for some reason. And now I'm starting to regret that I never saw this since a long time ago. And so yeah, so it's a great TV show. So but I never planned on making these custom minifigures because I usually make customs that are from from live action films or live action television. But I never expected to make figures from a cartoon, and that's especially really hard to do because of the coloring, and to get their eyes right, it's just so annoying. It's so annoying to do, and it's extremely hard. So I worked my ass off making these figures. So I hope you guys enjoy this, because I really didn't expect to make this at all, but I'm really glad that I did because they turned out really awesome. So yeah, and we're gonna take a look at all these figures. When we have Aang, we have Zuko, we have Toph, we have Katara and Sokka. So let's get started.
I guess I wasn't too specific about arrows, was I?
I honestly don't know how this all started, but for some reason, after finishing Reverse Flash and start sculpting Deathstroke's armor, I didn't know what to make during that time. So for some reason, I just got a blank head and an orange body and brown legs, and I somehow made Aang, the last Airbender himself. And yeah, and from there on I started making Zuko, then Toph, and Katara, then Sokka, and all this happened. So I honestly don't know why I started making the customs from a cartoon, because usually I like I said before, I usually don't do that. I mean, even though it's a great show, I still wouldn't do it because I'm more interested in the live action or the movie versions of characters. And so you like what I did for Arrow, Arsenal, Iron Man, those. I'm more interested in those, but I guess Avatar is the exception because it's a great show, and I really liked how they turned out. So starting with the face, Aang's head was actually one from a knockoff Iron Man head. It's just sanded from the back, and then what I did for painting the arrow is actually really fun and really hard to do, because what I want to do, I actually want to paint inside of the stud, because that way it looks more continuous. Because if it's just cut off and it's just left blank, it will look really weird. That also meant I have to paint on the sides. Well, that also means I have to paint on the sides and the inside, and that was really hard to do. It took me a long time and so many times to try to get that right. And yeah, and for his head, originally he had an angry face one time, but I decided to scratch that off because it doesn't really fit his character. So I gave him a smile, because he's a fun, happy kid. So yeah, and for the torso is really not that hard to do. It was really originally just an orange torso, just paint flesh all over on the sides. He has to be the second minifigure I actually paint the sides. And the first figure was Reverse Flash, when I add some black on it. This time I actually put some detail on it. The reason why I usually don't put detail right on the sides, because of the arm articulation. When you move the arm, sometimes there's a likely chance for the details to be scratched off. But what I did to avoid that was I sanded the sides, this side here, and around the arm socket, so that way there'll be it'll be less likely for the arm and the torso to have less contact with each other. So you can move his arm freely without fearing that the detail will be removed. Same thing with this arm. It's the same thing, and with these side details, it actually looks like an actual robe, which actually what I wanted to do. So yeah, it looks really cool. And for the legs, his leg, it's really hard to find the right accurate color for his legs, because sometimes it looks dark brown, sometimes it looks just brown, or it looks black, or even gray. So I just went with brown because it just seems more suitable. So yeah, with all these detailing, I have like the black robe designs with the black lines, and in the back, it's really fun painting the arrows, really, especially on his hands. That fact that it trails up to the upper part of his arm, it's just really cool. All these this little chest details I added. Yeah, that's all painted, and his staff is just an ordinary staff. It's really cool. I'll show you. And I actually made his glider, which I'll show you later, and for his feet. And yeah, and he's fully articulated, so you can move him without scratching anything at all. And for his legs, you can see all the boot detail is actually continued all around his legs, with all the gold lines, all the red and light red detailing. And for his glider, here's his glider. I used for the material I used for the wings. It was the same material I used for Falcon's wings from Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And so yeah, there's his glider. This is actually his version 2 of his glider that was made by this mechanic guy. And so yeah, all these minifigures are basically based off of their appearance in season 3, because season 3 is the best. So, and you can have him hold the glider. It's a little bit weight. It's a little bit too big, but it still works. It still works for him, because so on the back here you can see he has the handles, so you can actually have him ride this thing. So let me show you that. So with some adjusting, here's what he looks like on this glider, and you can have him flying. You can have him different flight poses. And here, there's a stud here, so you can connect a clear piece, and you can angle it so you can make sure, and so it can look like he's actually flying. And he looks really cool, and I really love this glider. It's really annoying to paint, because if you have to paint on one side, you have to make sure you have to keep adding layers of coat, so that way it doesn't look see-through when you in the light. And that has the same thing with painting all these black line detail. It's really hard. So how I made the glider, if you guys want to know, I basically did this. I just got a normal staff, and I get these like lightsaber pieces, and I super glue them to the plastics, like what you see here. So that was all super glued, and just get these piece. You can just look at that and just connect them together. That's basically how I made this glider. It was really hard to do because of my super glue is getting, I guess it's getting a little bit too old, because it doesn't stay on that long. But now it's fine. It's all good, and you can have him pose without the glider. I like to pose him without his glider, and so in the diorama base that I made for the Avatar: The Last Airbender minifigures. That's basically it on Aang. I hope you guys like this figure, and he's actually one of the best minifigures I made in 2015. So yeah, on to the next.
What's the first step to bring honor?
Pour the tea.
Getting real tired of this shit.
Here we have my favorite character from the show, and that is Prince Zuko. What I love about this guy is just his character. I mean, he's so cool. I don't know how to describe it. It's just he's a really good character. So yeah, so you see here, this is based on his season 3 appearance, because I really like this outfit a lot better than his weird than what he had with Fire Nation armor and the weird looking ponytail. And it's a good thing I didn't make the ponytail version of him, because I don't like that version. That means I have to sculpt it, and I already sculpted enough for Toph and Sokka. So I don't want to do too much on sculpting, and it looks really cool. And it's the same Iron Man knockoff head I used. I just painted on the back. This hair I got it from the lifeguard guy from the Lego Minifigures series 12 pack. So I use that. And the face detail, I'll zoom up here. The face has to be one of the best faces I ever painted, because it looks like Zuko. Just imagine with a ponytail or whatever hair he had, and he still looks like Zuko with all the scar. It looks really, really cool. And yeah, that's not an eyebrow, by the way, on his left eye. That's a scar line. So yeah, I really got his expression down right, because I mean, he's supposed to be stern, serious. He's never happy. So I made him not happy, which is good. And I really love his suit, because with all the gold detailing with the gold paint I use, and it looks really cool. I don't know what's on his back, but I guess that's what his back looks like. But I don't know. I can't find any reference pictures. And for this arm, it's basically the flesh, the flesh color arms just painted. I just paint the sleeves on top of it. So yeah, he's fully posable, especially on the legs. The legs were sanded, so that way you can get all the paint detailings right. Let me zoom out. And the leg detail has to be the best because the black lines are clear and you can see every detail perfectly with all this like the detailing design here. Especially for it to be, he is fully posable, and he doesn't have any detail continue around his legs because this is actually the robe, so there's no need, or this is a brown robe, so there's nothing to continue the detail inside his legs anyway. So the accessories he has are these fire pieces, obviously, because he's a firebender. So you can have him hold it, you can have him do so many poses with it, and here's a big fire flame if you want to have him shoot fire and stuff. So he looks really cool like that. So he has to be one of my favorite minifigures I actually made because he is super accurate and he is just a lot better in my opinion. So that's it on Zuko. Here's one last look at him, and let's move on to the next minifig.
Hey, you're not Aang.
Funny story about Katara. When I made a version 1 of her, I took a picture of her and showed it to my friend, and we had a big argument about how her boobs should look with the boob line. It's pretty funny. I don't know why we were just suddenly arguing about that. It's pretty silly. So I tried to make some minor changes like how she told me to do. So yeah, and that's Katara, and she does look a lot better. And yeah, this is based on her season 3 appearance, and you can see she does actually have the hair loopies on the side, just like what she always had, which is really nice because I didn't notice that Lego actually made this hairpiece that actually has the hair loopies around. Now, it was really hard for me to make Katara because I don't know, because if you guys know, Katara and her brother has like the darkest skin than all the other characters you've seen in the show, like Zuko and Aang. It's a little bit darker, but I realized that the head I used was the Indiana Jones. It was from Indiana Jones. If you guys remember these guys, they have like this skull mask. Yeah, I basically sanded the details off, and then I just paint her head on top of it, and it looks a lot better. And now it looks like Katara. I want to get her. It was really hard to get her expression right because she looked kind of creepy before, so I tried to fix that, and she still looks a little bit creepy, but she looks a lot better, and I can definitely see Katara there. And for this whole entire body, this was actually this was not originally light blue. This was actually originally just normal blue. I'll prove it to you by taking it out. Yeah, this was just blue. I don't have a light blue torso, so I have to like sand. I have to do like the same thing. I have to sand the sides. I gotta make sure everything's sanded so that way the arms can have fully articulation, so that way I can paint light blue everywhere. And that's what I did. And the detail within the necklace was actually really tough to get that right. And with all the detailing, obviously it's just a dot, but then there's no like water tribe like markings all over it because that's gonna be extremely hard. And her arm, it's the same thing. It's just normal blue, really. Just painted with nougat skin and light blue all over, so it's basically like that. And yeah, her hands are originally from the Lego Indiana Jones, the same skin color and stuff. And her legs are also blue because I don't have light blue at all, and it doesn't matter. It still looks awesome. And you can see I sanded the sides. You can see like the little gaps, so that way she can have full articulation. And she has all these like water tribe detail inside, and even in her back she has like those water tribe this water pouches, so she can water bend and stuff. Yeah. So, and she also has a detail inside her shoes, her boots, and yeah, that's basically it on Katara. And we can move on to the next So yeah, she is actually one of the best characters in the show, and she's one of the best minifigures I painted, and so that's basically it. That's basically it.
You're a pretty strong guy. What can you bend?
Puny god like this. If there's one element I hate in the show, it's Earth, because Earth is just uninteresting. But Toph is the saving grace of earthbending, because she has to be the coolest earthbenders ever. She's hilarious, she's awesome, and she kicks ass. Really, she really does. And starting with Toph, it was really hard for me to make her, because her hair has to be completely sculpted, and this is all sculpted with green stuff. It's the same stuff I used for Groot, for Deathstroke's armor, for Green Goblin's armor, and for Sokka's hair, and for different hair pieces and armors. So yeah, she was all painted. Now this was actually originally a Yoda minifigure body, and then it has the Yoda body, the Yoda legs, and just green arms. And that's how I started off with. And so yeah, and her head was actually from this old Indiana Jones head I used. It's just his face detail is actually on the back, so I just painted here. And the top has to be one of the best minifigures I painted next to Zuko. I tried to make sure. It was really hard to get her eyes right, because I originally, because she's blind and all, and so if you look at her eyes, it kind of looks faded and all. I tried to do the same thing, but it looked completely weird. So what I did, I just outlined the eyes in black, and it's really hard to outline that. And so yeah, and I tried to get her expression right, and a little smirk. And it was really hard to make her hair, because when I started off with, it started off looking like this, with the two bangs in the middle, and just like, and another side, and bangs on the sides. I didn't like that, because I realized that she has a lot of bangs, so I tried to add more green stuff in the between, but it basically covered her whole entire face, and it looked completely weird. But so I took that off, and I just went with this. So, but it doesn't look that bad. I guess I could have done something and make it a little bit better. But sculpting with green stuff is just completely difficult. And one good thing about Toph, I don't need to worry about her leg articulation at all, because these legs, they don't have articulation. They're just stubs. It's just like that. And for the back detail, that's basically her back. There's nothing much to it really, and it was really hard to paint the detailing on her legs, because it's just it's too damn small. Like painting all these, like, you can see here the yellow lines, yeah, that was extremely hard to do, especially on her arms. So she had a lot more detailing on her wrist and her legs, but I couldn't paint them because they're just too small. So yeah, but Toph has to be one of the best minifigures I painted in 2015. I say that a lot, but they really are the best. So I really like the hair, because it really looks like Toph, and it looks awesome. So that's it. And I guess we can conclude this with our last minifigure.
Hey Zuko, you know what's the difference between my boomerang and your honor? I don't know what. Your honor will never come back. Okay, I'm sorry.
Now, for lastly, we have the meat lover and sarcastic guy himself. That's Sokka, and like Toph, his hair was also sculpted, and it's based off his season 3 design. If you guys remember, in season 3, he starts to grow hair on his sides. Like, we know he had his sides shaved off. I actually wanted, originally, I actually wanted to make the Sokka based off his season 1 appearance, but so without the side parts, and just have him shaved off. But when I did that, he looked completely weird. So I decided to not go with that idea, and just like sculpt some hair on his side. And it was really hard to like make his little ponytail, or warrior's tail, whatever you call it, wolf's tail, I don't know. And it was really hard to make that, because I originally had it a little bit down, but then he kind of looked like it has like a girl's ponytail, so I had it sticking up, and it looks slightly better. And with all these like texturing I have, like these little like if you can see here, I cut some parts of it, making sure it doesn't look too flat. And the front is painted, and he has a relatively simple design. He doesn't really have a lot. Because one thing that's really hard to paint is like the part of his hands. You know, these kind of like glove things. Because the problem thing about them, they scratch off way too easily. You can kind of see like some of them are kind of, you can see that some of them are like coming off, like so yeah. And I got his expression down right, and he looks exactly like Sokka. And so yeah. And so yeah, and for his back, and you can see there's his little boomerang pouch. And yeah, and for his boomerang, if you guys want to know what I did, what I made, I used these like little stud pieces. I put some greens, and then for the boomerang part, it was the same plastic I used for the glider. And how I made it stay together, I add some touch of super glue and some green stuff, so that way it can connect. So yeah, you can have him hold his boomerang. His boomerang was really hard to make, and it's a good thing I found a way how to make it, oh shoot, I bent that. That's not good. It's a good thing I found a way how to make this boomerang, so that way I can make Captain Boomerang from Arrow, so I can do that, but probably later. And his legs were like relatively simple too. There's not much design on his leg really, and so he is fully articulated. There's no sanding needed to be done because really there's not that much detail, and then the detailing continues on the back, and yeah, that's basically it on Sokka. Oh yeah, and I was going to make his meteor sword thing, but unfortunately I don't have any swords at all that kind of matches that. The only swords I have are katanas, but that doesn't work for him. And I couldn't even make his water tribe machete thing. So instead, I just gave him a chicken leg because why not? Because it's funny. And so he can eat during battle. Or this hilarious accessory I made for him is this. If you guys remember that hilarious, oh dang it, where is it? You can have him hold this. Because if you guys remember that hilarious scene in the desert, yeah, it'll quench ya. It really will. So yeah, you can have him drunk during battle too. So that's cool. That's basically it. That's all the minifigures I have, and yeah, that's basically it on for Sokka. Here's one last look at him. Really cool, and all. Yep, that's basically it. And let's just conclude this video. That's all I have for today. There's still more customs I want to show to you guys, but it's going to take a little bit more time for me to actually make the video and edit it. And for G1 Optimus Prime, I am still working on it. I didn't really start, to be honest. I'm trying to make sure, because I'm trying to take this a little bit slow, because usually for Transformers, I usually rush them too fast. But this is G1 Optimus we're talking about, one of the best Transformers. And he's even better than the live action Optimus, because he's the original, he's the classic Optimus. So, and I don't know why I never made him in the past, but now I am, and I want to make him look awesome as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys stay tuned for what I'm about to make in the future, because I am going to make a lot of videos and a lot of Transformers. I haven't been making a lot of Transformers lately, and I apologize for that. I've been too busy with these custom minifigures. I never noticed how much I've completely forgot about the Transformers. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.